Good Monday, everybody. Hope everything is going well for you. Um, Hope you had a great weekend. Let's get started. We're going to kind of transition a little bit into our next chapter, and I'm going to put really two lessons together in this one because it's really not that difficult. Okay, so this is 9-1 and 9-2, and this is congruence statements and corresponding sides slash angles. Okay, this is a little bit of review. Some of this stuff we've done before, um, but we might take it a step further than we have. Today is the 13th, 4-13-20. Okay, let's start. First, our objective for this lesson is to make a congruence statement that states two objects have the exact same shape and size. Okay. And in addition to that, we're going to use that congruent statement to determine corresponding sides and corresponding angles. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and get started. Let's say I'm going to start with a triangle. Okay. And say I've got a triangle here, and we'll do another triangle here. And we'll say, let's give this some labels. Let's say this one is triangle A, B, C, and I probably didn't draw them exactly the same, but let's just, for comparison's sake, let's just pretend that these are exactly the same thing. Okay, I mean exactly the same measure. Okay, so this is D, E, F. Okay, now when we write a congruent statement, first of all, does anybody remember what congruent means? Congruent, okay, means the same size and same shape. Okay, and that's between two objects. Well, in this case, we're going to talk about these two objects. Now, we have to, first of all, when we write a congruent statement, okay, the order that we put the angles is important. Okay, this is angle, this angle A, we're going to call this first angle. Okay, so over here we'll say that this thing is kind of turned around backwards, so we'll say this was the first angle here. I tell you what, I'm going to do it in a different way so you guys can see it a little bit easier. Okay, we'll say this is angle 1 and this is angle 1. Let's say this is angle 2, this is angle 2. We'll say this is angle 3, this is angle 3. Okay, and we will say this is, say this is side 1, side 2, side 3. All right. So what these marks mean, okay? These are these angle tick marks, and then these are side tick marks, okay? And what they mean is these are corresponding angles in between these two shapes, okay? So first of all, this is a known that these two shapes are indeed congruent. Okay, what you're going to be asked to do is write a congruence statement and then use that statement to determine the congruent sides and angles. Okay, so first of all, if you remember, the sign for congruent is an equal sign with a squiggle above it. Okay, that means congruent, or in this case, congruent to. Okay, so let's first write this triangle, this first one. Okay, in our congruence statement. Okay, we'll do our statement up here. Okay, we're going to call this our not pi, sorry, Monday, congruence statement. Okay, so let's start with this triangle A B C is congruent to. Now, what we have to do is we have to keep in mind the order of this. So angle A, that's the first angle listed. And the reason I did it this way is because your default inclination is to say, well, ABC is in alphabetical order, so it must be DEF. However, it's not. Okay, look at where angle 1 is over here. Okay, you see how this is angle 1. Let's look at this second shape. Which one is angle 1 here? That's right, E. Okay, so the first letter in our second part of this congruence statement is going to be triangle E. Okay, now this angle 1 goes to angle 2, which is B, so AB. Well, where does angle 2 fall in this one? E to D. So we're going to say E, D, and then the last one is obviously F. Okay, so we've made our congruent statement. Okay, now when we determine what our corresponding sides are for this figure, okay, we're going to find our corresponding sides, and we're going to take that congruent statement, which we've already determined, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle EDF. Okay, well, the first side on this one is A to B. Okay, so we will say side AB is congruent to what side on this one? Well, the first two letters are here are E and D. Now remember, that's triangle I'm sorry, angle A, which is angle 1 to angle 2. Well, angle 1 to 2, so the first two here are ED. So these are, remember, if it's a triangle, it's going to have 3 corresponding sides. If it's a quadrilateral, it's going to have 4 corresponding sides. So we have side A is congruent to side AB, sorry, is congruent to side ED. Now let's say BC, which is 2 to 3. What's 2 to 3 on this one? DF. Okay, so BC is congruent to side DF. And then the last one is AC. So if we did AC, that's angle 1 to angle 3, AC. So angle 1 to angle 3 over here would obviously be EF. Okay, so our last one would be side AC is congruent to side EF. Okay, does that make sense? So we have all 3 of the corresponding sides. So this is like going to be the answer for one question. Almost, we're not done yet. Okay, you're going to come up with number 1, the congruent statement, number 2, the corresponding sides, and the last thing, and this one's easy, is the corresponding angles. Not corresponding, sorry. Corresponding angles. Okay, so let's again bring down that congruent statement that we made earlier. Triangle A, B, C is congruent to triangle E, D, F. Okay, so we're going to say angle, what's the first angle here? A. Well, what does it correspond to? E. A is the same as E. So we're going to say for corresponding angles, our angle E is congruent to angle E. Angle B is congruent to angle D. And the last one, angle C is congruent to angle F. Now, you don't have to draw these lines on your corresponding angles from your congruent statement. You can just go up here and look. Okay, well, let's see. I got angle 1 because there's one tick mark here. That's going to be congruent to angle E over here because it's got 1. Okay, and then I could say angle 2 would be B, and that's congruent to angle D over here. And then the last one I could say the angle 3 is C is going to be congruent to angle F. Okay, that's what we're going to be looking for on your assignment tomorrow. You're going to have to answer 3 things. You're going to have to come up with a congruent statement. You're going to use that statement to find the corresponding sides, and you're going to use that congruent statement to find the corresponding angles. All right, that's it for today. Tomorrow you'll have your worksheet, and if you need to watch this video a time or two again, that's fine. Feel free to do so. God bless you guys. I hope you have an awesome day. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.